Okay, so here I'm just going to walk through how to do practice task 3.2. And this is all about graphing scatter plots. And the reason this is important here is, if you recall, complex numbers can be represented as ordered pairs, where the first coordinate is the real piece and the second coordinate is the imaginary piece. And graphing them is what a big part of this project is. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to graph, and then how to do various things with the graph, like creating titles, changing colors, and this will be more important for the part 6, which is the artistic piece. But also, just to get the basic graph done, you need to know how to create this graph. So I'm going to go to task 3.2, the tab in the spreadsheet. I'm editing this in the full Excel version, which is what I really recommend. I know there's the online Excel version, but I had asked if everyone would be able to install the full version. There's just a lot more functionality available to you, especially in the graphing realm. So that's what the screen is that you're looking at right here, is the full version of Excel. So here there's two sets of ordered pair sequences, and I'm going to just create graphs for both of them. So this first one here, we see a real and imaginary, and I've basically done an iteration rule to get the real and imaginary piece. And to graph this, these are ordered pairs. To graph it, all I'm going to do is select and highlight the area that I want to graph. So this whole thing here, there's 200 and some data points. Looks like 250. And so now I'm scrolling back up, and you can see that whole set is highlighted. So that means I want to graph this set of data. And then to do a graph, I'm going to move off. I'm going to look at the activities across the top here, and one's going to be insert. And then what I'm going to insert here is a chart. And the chart section is over here in the middle, and you see all these different symbols for different kinds of charts. So for a scatter plot, it's this one here that looks like a bunch of dots: insert, scatter, XY, or bubble chart. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And then under the scatter, as I said, there's 5 different options here. And if I just scroll over each one, it'll give you a quick show of what it's going to look like. So the first option is just show me a bunch of points. So those 250 points that are highlighted over on the left are shown in this graph right here. The second option here is called, I think it's markers with smooth lines. That means it's going to plot all the points, plus try and connect the dots with kind of a curved line of best fit, if you will. It's going to try and draw smooth lines in between them. This option is don't graph the dots, just kind of connect everything with smooth lines. This option here, scatter with straight lines and markers, is the one we're actually going to use for this project, but it graphs all the coordinates as points with the markers and then puts straight lines in between them. And then this last one is just straight lines in between, but don't show the dots. So we're going to go ahead and pick this one here. And just by clicking on that one, the chart is now inserted into the Excel sheet, and we're essentially good to go here. And there's a few other things you can do with this chart. If I want to give it a title, a lot of this will be intuitive. You just click on that area. We'll call it scatter 1, whatever you want to call it. And then there's various other things you might want to do at some point, like changing colors and that kind of thing. So if we just click on this series, you can see that when I click on the whole graph, all the line of dots gets highlighted. And off to the right here, there's all these options about format data series. So for example, on the line right here, I can pick a different color. So I'm in the line section. There's 2 choices here: line and then marker. Marker would be the dots, line is the line in between them. Right now it's a color of blue. If I wanted to go here and change it to red, you can see that when I did that, it kept all the dots as blue, but made the little lines in between them red. Over in marker, if I wanted to change that, right here, I could change the color of those as well. I could change it to, if I also wanted to have that be red. And there's actually 2 things. It can change the outline and the inside of those markers. So I just changed the border there. Now the color for the inside would, sorry, I'm in the plot area now. That would be another, sorry, what I did there is I clicked on the plot area, and it let me change the color of the plot area. So it's essentially the idea is anything you want to change, you just click on it and you can change. If I click on the axis here, now I'm clicking on the real axis. it has other options here, like text options. I could, well, let's see, axis options. You have all the different bounds. You can do labels, where I want the labels to show up. Right now they're next to axis, but if I wanted to go below the graph, I could pick low, for example. I could pick high. So there's, like I said, all kinds of ideas, or all things you can change about the graph in terms of the colors and various things. So let's do the second one then. But again, the main thing here is just to be able to insert the graph. So if I go ahead and highlight the second set of data, go back up, click Insert, go to the chart sections. I want to pick this one here. Those are kind of interesting little bubble charts, but we want the chart scatter with straight lines and markers. Looks like that went right over my old one, so I'm just going to drag it, move it so I can have two here. And so you can see it. And this is actually will auto update too. Like for example, if I come here and happen to change this first point to 3, 3, that's the beauty of a spreadsheet. The graph will automatically update. So you can see that that first point right here will out of pattern now, but it moved to 3, 3. If I change this to 5, it's going to move that point up even further. So what's nice about once you have your chart hooked up to your data, anytime you change your data, your chart will automatically refresh. And that's the idea of what we're going to be doing in the project, is creating a sequence, and then you're going to change the seed value and the iteration rule and see the graph that comes out of it. But you're not going to have to graph it every time. Once you have your graph hooked up once, you just have to change your input values and the graph will redraw.